Everyone,
this is Tiffany, and I am here to edit a holiday portrait with you. So, I am going to start with her skin, and I'm going to come back and do even more with the skin. But in our skin collection, so I'm in our WTF skin collection, I'm going to try to focus mostly on our new holiday collection, or a few of my favorites in there, but I'm going to start with our skin. I kind of want to. I'm going to use doll face because I want to brighten her skin just a tad, especially on this side. So I am going to go through here and smooth that out. So if I turn this off and on, you can see what that's done. I am going to drop that. And then I am going to use our under eye correct. So when I do this, I like to zoom way in because she has freckles and I don't want to choose a freckle. And I am going to hit play and then continue. Okay. And then I'm going to grab a color here and hit okay. And then I'm just going to paint under her eye. And then I am going to drop that just a tad. So if I turn that off and on, you can see that that's brightened up her eyes. And then I actually run it twice because I'm in two different lights. So her left or her right eye, looking at it the left, is definitely darker because my light is camera right. So I have to pop up here. And I don't know that I'm going to delete that one. Go back and run under eye correct again, hit continue, hit okay. And I'm going to grab from here. Not sure what happened on that one there. Grabbed from somewhere where it was not the correct spot. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out and I am going to drop this one just a tad as well. Okay, then I am going to go to our quick actions and make a stamped visible layer. And then I'm going to grab my patch tool. And I am just going to patch this out here. I'm going to hit Command Z there. Hit Command Z again. I don't like the way that looks. I'm going to go back to this. All right. I'm just trying to smooth this out around her eye. I'm going to ditch this whole thing. I don't like the way it looks, and I'm going to try that again. Stamped visible layer. Move in here, closer, and I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. Try it this way, depending on where I'm taking from. There we go. We just got to fix these up a little bit. Okay, and I will fix the rest of that with frequency separation, but it's just taking that little bag out of there. Okay. I am going to drop the opacity a little bit. And then I am going to close this up. And I am going to go down to our Heirloom Collection. So I have been using this on everything. So there are 4 basic fine art bases. There's 2 different warms, a cool, and a clean. So like I just did an outdoor beach session, and for most of them I just used the clean because I just wanted to clean it up, and I can run that for you and show you what that's going to do. But for this particular image, I really want to bring out the warmth, so I'm going to use one of the warm. So it's just, you can see what that's doing, giving that fine art. But I want to brighten it up even more and add it in some warmth. So for that, my favorite is the fine art base number 2. And as you can see, if I turn that off and on, what that one click does. I am going to just drop it a pinch. Okay, and then on almost every image, I also use brighten subject. So It depends on where I am. In this particular one, her highlights are already very bright and I'm going to have to take those down. So I'm going to drop this way down, but in some images, I leave it all the way up. It truly just depends on where I am. Typically, if I'm under studio lights, I don't need it to be that bright because the studio lights are already doing that. So on and off. You can see it just gives that pop. Pop the details is one of my favorite things to use when I'm shooting in studio to really do just that. If I'm working with a backdrop, really pop some of those details. So I am going to use it here on her headpiece. And then this dress is magnificent for pop the details because it is, I'm just going through on the places that are already highlighted and popping that. And then I'm going to go up the center here. And then I'm just going to pop some of this in the background real quick. Okay, so if I turn that off and on, you can see that does exactly what it says. It's popping the details. I am going to just bring it down a tad. All right, painterly hair. I'm going to run this right away. If I am running like a painterly filter on the entire image, I won't use this, but I don't plan on doing that. So I'm going to just do it for her hair. This is going to soften the hair and give it just a really beautiful flowy look. So you must click on the black and have a white brush. And I'm just going to leave it at 100, but I will reduce the opacity when I am finished. So I'm just going to paint all over her hair. Sometimes I like to leave like in the part here, leave that because it gives it a little bit more depth, but on, off, and on. It's just going to soften her hair. All right. I'm not doing anything with the background, although the most recent beach session I did, I was loving the hazy black background blur. I am not adding any of this. This is one of my favorite actions I can just show you, a soft matte. I love using that on the background and then just taking it off the subject to really make your subject pop off the background. But again, I'm not using that for this image. I love the golden contrast, so I'm going to do that, turn that off and on. We can see what that does to the image, and I'm just going to drop it a tad. Again, these are all literally one click. And I have dodge, burn, and glow, brighten a touch, darken a touch, desaturate. Okay, decrease the highlights. I'm going to do that because I feel like her highlights are pretty strong here. And then I'm going to collapse the group, turn it off and on. I am going to do this and hit Command I to invert that. And I'm going to grab a white brush and just paint that on the highlights. And I'm going to go back through and add highlights again. Turn that off and on. All right, with dodging and burning, I am going to grab the black brush and take that off of her eye. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the winter collection. So there are a couple that I have been loving. So glowing skin, I can show you. We can add some of those highlights back in. That's why it's not working. I don't have a white brush. So I am just going through, she's got something on her hand there, maybe looks like lipstick. And I'm just adding this where we already have some highlights to give it that bit of a glow. Okay, so if I zoom that out and turn that off and on, you can see, like, especially underneath her eyes there, it's just a tiny little bit. Rosy cheeks and lips, I can show you for this one. This is really good for outdoor images where you get those really red cheeks. I'm just going to do 2 taps. I like to feather it out quite a bit, and then I need to drop this significantly because that's just not the look that I'm going for. I like our captivating eye action, so I'm going to save that. But Winter Wonderland. So most of them are very cool, or actions that are really going to add, you know, cool to the shadows or cool to the highlights. But this one is more of a warm glow. So that's the look I'm going for. So that's what I'm going to use, is the Winter Wonderland. And it's going to brighten her up and add just this beautiful holiday glow. That's what she should have named this one, Holiday Glow, because that's exactly what it does. And see, one click, off and on. So some of my images, what I've been doing is I've been inverting this and just painting it onto the subject if I really want them to pop. However, I am wanting this on the entire image, off and on, so I am going to leave it as is. All right, then the other one that I have been really loving is Holiday Pop, and adding in like lights and flames. So I am going to grab this Holiday Pop right now and hit play. All right, turn that off and on. So it's taken down my highlights, off and on. I'm gonna bring that down. And then I am going to take a black brush and paint it off. I really want those highlights to pop here, so I'm going to take it off of this image. All right. I am going to go back up. Sometimes when I have a dark image like this, I like to run the bold and bright just to see what it does. And many times I like to use, our bold actions are that, very bold. So I typically use them on a very low opacity, but they can really add that gorgeous contrasty look that you're going for. So I'm not sure if I'm going to like this or not. This is just part of my process. And it's a quick, literal one push button, off and on. And I'm going to drop it, and I love what that's done. Off and on. It's just deepened her skin a little bit, given her some contrast, so I'm going to keep that. I'm going to go to Reduce Orange and hit play, and I'm going to turn that off and on, and then I'm going to click on the white and hit Command I to invert, and I'm just going to paint that on white onto her skin. I don't want to reduce the orange anywhere else. Just don't want her to have orange skin. And I'm going to do the same with Reduce Magenta. So you can see she has some magenta in her skin. I'm going to hit Command I, and I'm going to, again, with a white brush, run that over her skin. All right. Now, I am going to, I might have to do the spot red reduce, but I'm going to use some frequency separation first. I'm good with her cheeks and her lips, so I am going to do some frequency separation. So I hit OK. I'm not going to do a ton of smoothing as far as with the lasso tool, so I just hit OK. But this is important. We add the non-destructive edit layers. So I'm going to zoom way in, and I'm on the texture edit, and I already have my clone tool highlighted, and I am going to make this a little bit larger, hit my option key here, and I'm just going to paint. I'm just clicking my option key and going over these tiny little hairs, and it is taking them right away. So another thing that you could use is the erase tool, but sometimes that leaves like a wonky looking thing. So I like to use the frequency separation. I'm literally just hitting option and painting over. Just got like a piece of glitter here. She's got a piece of glitter here. She sometimes, like right here, is holding her mouth weird and has like this, her chin, you can see like the divots in her chin. So I'm just gonna paint those out. I've got some hairs here. I'm just, again, clicking and painting. This is good like if you need an eyebrow waxing. Same thing. I can click here and do these little hairs if you don't want those in there. This is going to be tricky in here. Grabbing this hair. Because here I am. I'm having to click all over to get this hair out of there. I'm going to put some eyelashes on her, so for now I'm happy with that. Okay, so if I turn this one off and on, you can see I've taken the texture. Now I'm going to hit the blur color edit, and I'm going to grab my mixer brush tool, and I have them all set. I'm going to do this one at 25 as well. And I'm just going to make circular motions, kind of tie this highlight down a little bit, blend it in, go down her nose and across, and I'm going to work into underneath her eyes here on both sides and into this shadow to kind of lessen that. She always takes on a lot of red in her chin here, so I'm just trying to blend that, and there's almost like a green. You can see there's like a green hue in here, so trying to blend that out as well. Same thing here, blending it all out. Take that back. Take some of the darker color and move it into here. Okay. So I'm just zooming in and out and taking a look at. I'm just trying to blend out this highlight a little bit. Okay, so if I turn this one off and on, you can just see how it smoothed everything out. Oh, I have to fix this one too. Again, I think she has something on her. She had something on her hand there. Okay. So I just used the frequency separation. To smooth everything out on her face. If you wanted to smooth out the dress, sometimes if there's wrinkles or things like that, you can do it on here as well, or you can make another blank layer and just use the brush, the mixer brush, off and on. So it's just smoothed everything out. Okay, so that's also taken some of the definition off of her face. So now I need to go back and do dodging and burning. So you can use our Dodge Burn and Glow. I am going to just run to our quick actions and make a stamped visible layer. So I'm going to close down our frequency separation. This is so that I don't have to flatten, or you could just flatten, but if you don't want to flatten, you can use that. And I'm going to hit Command J, and I'm going to turn to luminosity and then grab a burn tool. I'm just zooming in. And I am going to burn some of that definition back into her face that I took out. I am at an 11. I'm just gonna go down. I didn't do my eyes yet. Sorry, started recording this and my dog started barking that she needed to go out. And I forgot whether or not I had done my captivating eyes yet, but I'm seeing I haven't. Okay, so if I turn this off and on, you can see that I've added a lot of that definition back into her face. I am going to make my brush larger and run it up closer to her hair here. And then I'm going to come in with a white, oh, that's not going to work. A white brush here and take some of that off. Not a white brush, a black brush. My goodness, take some of that off. Okay. I'm wondering why this isn't working. It's because I don't have a brush. Goodness. Okay, let me take some of this off. Now I can take it off. Okay, let's go in through here. Look a little bit closer. Then I'm going to go back to my dodge tool, click back on my layer, and I'm going to just add in some light. I could go through and do every one of these little spikes, but in an effort to save time, I won't. I see that here she has some things from rubber bands, so I'll look at fixing that. Okay, so if I turn this off and on, you can see we were able to add in some definition to her face and some light. I'm going to go back here. Okay. Now I am going to close down my quick actions and I'm going to grab my spot red reduce. Click on there, grab a white brush. And I'm at 25%, and I'm just clicking where I see areas that are a little red. So it's off, and now I'm turning it on, trying to take a little bit of that red out of her face. I'm happy with that. So now I need to find my captivating eyes. So these eye actions can be found either in our eye collection or in our Ultimate Workflow collection. So I'm going to grab these and open it up and go down. I always use this Brighten Eye and Socket. I'm going to up my flow just over 50%. And I may end up having to take that down. Her eye whites are already very white and bright, so I don't need to use those. I am going to use Adjust Eye Color. And then I am going to come in here. I'm just using my bracket keys to make my brush bigger and smaller. And then I usually like to add in the greens, the blues, just to enhance the color that she already has. I'm at 23%, turning it off and on. So it just kind of brightens it up, and then I always sharpen. Use our eye sharpening action. Okay, so if I turn this off and on, you can see what that is done. I'm just going to zoom out because sometimes it's too much. I'm going to just a tad, and then I'm going to do layer, new layer, hit OK. I'm going to grab a black brush, and I've used these already. These are in part of our I need to make my bracket key to make it bigger, my arrow key to move it. These are in our eye collection, all of our lashes. There's a ton of lashes. So these are my favorite ones. Actually, Whitney made these of Kinley's eyelashes, so they're perfect for us. I'm just gonna click, and then I'm gonna grab the other side, and I'm using my arrow key to fit that. And a bracket key to make it one size bigger. Nope, that's too big. All right. I never want them to look fit unless I'm going for that look, but this is just making them a little bit thicker. So I'm only at 56%. I don't even think I'm going to put bottom lashes on her. I just use it to enhance her eyes. Okay, so I think I may be done here. I'm going to grab this airbrush skin really quick. And grab a brush. And I'm just going to smooth those out. So off and on, I just smoothed out where her ponytail holders were. Go in here and just do a little bit of smoothing. Airbrush skin is going to do just that, give you like a very, very airbrush look. So if that's not what you're in for, then this is not the action for you. Okay, I like that for this particular image. I think I am done. So I am going to grab a shot. So here is where we started, and here is where we finished. So again, started and finished. So these are using all of our actions. Most were one click, and it's just a matter of decreasing or increasing the opacity. So if you are looking for something to really make those holiday images pop, my suggestion would be the Heirloom Collection and the Holiday Collection, which are two of our newest. I can show you one of my favorite things. Like, let's say you wanted her to be in snow. I'm just going to run this really quickly for you. This one is a little bit more intensive. It does take a little bit longer, but it's definitely worth it. I will just quickly show you because I didn't showcase everything in the Holiday Collection, but I also wanted to show you that those two actions, the Winter Wonderland and the Holiday Pop, I have been using on almost everything. They are just, both of them, I feel like Whitney should pull them and sell them separately as well, because the both of them are amazing actions to use on any type of portrait. But I also want to show you, like, just because something's called Heirloom Collection or Holiday Collection doesn't mean you can't use it on any image that you have. So our actions are all interchangeable. I will say that the Holiday Collection has, and there's tons of brushes, lights. I mean, Whitney has a couple videos on that where adding lights, I mean, there's like 100 brushes. It's crazy. And then there's also the snow, which I'm just going to quickly show you here in the holiday package. And then, like I said, besides the Winter Wonderland, most of those actions are cooling actions. So it does have more of like that holiday winter feel to it, but there are definitely things in there that you can use on any image. All right. So here is Run the Blizzard, turning it off and on, and I can go here and I can brush this off my subject's skin. I'm going to drop this. So if you wanted to make it look like she was outdoors, turning that off and on. I'm going to drop this, and you can also go in here and you can turn off. So like maybe the foreground to take a little bit off, and you can pick and choose what you want to turn off and on. So again, here's off and here's on if you wanted her to add in some snow, but that's not my original intent. So again, here is where we started the image, and this is the outcome at the end. As always, if you have questions, please reach out to us. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks all.